My name is Aryansh. I'm a fourth year student of Department of HSS and I'm a boarder of Patel Hall. और मेरे को इन जनरल कंसल्ट ही करना था तो आई एम हियर.
Thank you. Next, we have Diya Sarkar, currently interning at LEK. Diya, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. I think you've done pretty much all the introduction that I needed. I'm a third year student in the Department of Chemical Engineering. And yeah, my hall is Mother Teresa. So if there's anyone there, good. Yeah.
Thank you, Diya. Our next panelist for the discussion is Mr. Apoorv Bansal, who has bagged an internship at Bain and Company. So, Apoorv, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey, hi everyone. My name is Apoorv, and currently I'm a pre-final year undergrad student pursuing my bachelor's in biotech and master's in finance. And yeah, as you mentioned, currently I'm interning at Bain and Company as an associate consultant intern. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Thank you, Apoorv. Our final panelist is Ms. Dipanki Mukherjee, who is currently interning at BCG. Dipanki, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone, and I'm Dipanki, and I'm a fourth year undergraduate student from the Department of Civil Engineering. And I hope all of you find this meeting fruitful and all of us are able to clear all your doubts.
Thank you, Dipanki.
Before we commence our discussion, let's take a moment to extend a heartfelt congratulations to our esteemed panelists for their remarkable achievements. We are genuinely excited and eager to learn from your valuable experiences and insights. So, starting the panel discussion, our first question is: what specific skills and experience do aspiring candidates need to possess in order to successfully apply for and excel in the consult field? Aryansh, would you like to begin?
हाँ यार, तो ठीक है. पैनलिस्ट कोई भी उठा लेना भाई क्वेश्चन, ऐसे ऑर्डर में मत चलना वरना रिपीट होती रहेंगी चीज़ें. सो व्हाट आई थिंक इज कि इन जनरल यू शुड हैव अ नैक फॉर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. दिस इज द बेसिक बुक आंसर कि प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग करनी आनी चाहिए. Gradually after that we realize ki what are the other skill sets that are required. So consulting firms are more or less elitist. So if you see that if you want to go into a consulting firm, then you should let go of the cherry on the top ki it's very glamorous and that, and you should know that you'll have to put in 12 hours, 14 hours, whatever according to the case. Apart from that, you should have a knack for excelling in whatever you're doing. So you wouldn't see any guy with a CGPA less than 8 getting into a consulting firm. Apart from that, you wouldn't see anybody without some good POR or some exposure in KGP. And apart from that, you wouldn't see anybody without a very decent intern also getting into consult. And what is the definition of a decent intern? You'll know. Like if you talk to 20 people who are in consulting, or if you see the profile of such people, you'll get to know that what is a decent intern and what is not. So these are some of the things that I believe can be categorized into these three buckets. Academics should be good, PR should be good, and internships should be good. After obviously the problem solving aspect of it.
Yeah, adding on to what Aryansh said, like, so he described the whole process before CV shortlisting. Matlab, these all are the key things you'll be needing to get your CV shortlisted. Now I'll talk about the post shortlisting process. So again, there are two skills. Like one is soft skills and hard skills. Second is hard skills. So what I define hard skills as, which you can easily acquire in these 2 months. So the first is quant, how good you are with numbers. Matlab, how quickly you can convert a number into an insight. And then the second thing is business acumen, definitely, which he mentioned before, business acumen and structuring. So that these two things you will acquire from solving cases. Matlab matlab you must be having your case groups, right? So you'll be solving cases in an interview or interviewee format. So these two things you'll be developing there. Then in the soft skills, there are two important things. One is coachability. So they see the person, like how coachable a person is. What do I mean by coachability is how quickly you are able to grasp a new idea, right? And the second one is definitely confidence. So they obviously see is kitna conviction when he's speaking something, right? So yeah, these are the five key things. Post shortlisting is important. Yeah. So any of you, Dipanki and the other, any other thing you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, my answer would be similar to what Aryansh and Apoorv said. So I feel that in consulting, it is also very important for you to be very structured. So even while during the interviews, when you're answering stuff and things, it is very important that you know what you want to target and what you want to answer. So you don't go here and there while answering things. So they like people who are very structured about it, who have a format that they follow. So that is something that will also be required while you're working there. So that is something that I feel you need to have, and for that you need like proper preparation before you go ahead and sit for the interview. So I think that is something that is very important. And other than that, of course, like problem solving and all that, that is something that you can also build. So it is very important that before you go ahead and sit for the interviews, you are always case practicing with your friends, with your seniors. So that is something that will add on to that. And this also includes like even HR questions, CV grilling, and all that.
I just wanted to add on something that you don't require, because I remember this was something that a lot of us used to think. It was just to say you don't require previous consulting experience. Consulting firms don't expect you to have any idea about how consulting firms work or have any previous experience in that field. What you do need to have is what has already been pointed out. You should be able to think on your feet. You should be willing to learn quickly. And you should be able to convey your thoughts in a very structured manner. Apart from the things that Aryansh obviously mentioned that are necessary to get your CV shortlisted.
Thank you for your insights. Next up, what specific steps would you recommend to students to effectively prepare for the consult profile? And what key resources do you believe are essential for their success in securing these internships? Would any of the panelists want to go ahead with this question?
Sure, I'll start with it. So there are ways into getting into it. So the first thing comes is the CV preparation and CV shortlisting. So I feel that that is the most important thing in consulting, because like out of 800 students that will be applying, only around 30 to 25 people will be the ones who will have their CV shortlisted. So for that, I think it's most important that you actually ensure that all these years that you are there in your college life, you are making something out of it, so that you have something to add on your CV, which, as Aryansh, Apoorv, and Diya mentioned, like PORs, having interns, certain certifications that you feel can make you stand out. So, like we call it sparks, or in your CV or something like that. So basically, you need to show the people there that you have done something which differentiates you from the others, or you have done something which validates that you have actually been great at this job, this internship, and you have showed those people there that you can make a change there. Or maybe you have handled a very stressful situations, and at the same time maybe received 8.5 CGPA plus or something like that, and showed it to them that even though you don't like your major, you have done something great in that as well. So basically, that's why you need to ensure that you have top stellar CV in it, and for all that you need to ensure that you participate in all the competitions that exist. And other than that, then comes doing case solving, guesstimates, and all that. And various resources are available for that. Like you'll have IIT Bombay's CIC, then from IIT Madras you have Day1 Crack. So these are resources that I feel one mistake that many students do is that they start reading those cases on their own rather than doing it with a friend or a case group. So I feel that that is very important, that you have a group of people with whom you can act it out. Maybe one is becoming the interviewer and then you are solving it, and then you reverse the roles. Because when you read it, you will feel that you will be able to solve it. It's not that great. But once you don't have, the solution in front of you, and they just give you a one-liner sentence that this is the problem, then you will realize that you are not really quick at it. You can't really think about it. So that is something that comes with time, but it is important that you discuss it out with your peers.
Just to add on to preparing for cases as well, you notice that there are a lot of different kind of case books and a lot of different kind of frameworks that are available. Do try to stick to one framework. You can choose whatever is best for you, but take that casebook and finish it, right? Like if you switch between casebooks, you will confuse yourself about what framework is correct for you. But like case solving on the outset seems like intuitive, but it is really a function of how much you practice it. The more you practice it, the more easily you're able to link certain things to the other, the more easily you're able to basically like internalize the structure. So stick to one framework is the takeaway.
और यार किसी के क्वेश्चन हो तो just note down your questions. We'll take all the questions at the end. इट्स नॉट दैट वी आर वेरी एक्सपीरियंस्ड, हमारे भी 15 ही दिन हुए कंसल्टिंग में। हो सकता है देयर कुड बी सम थिंग्स दैट वी आर नॉट आंसरिंग प्रॉपरली। उस टाइम पे सीडीसी के टाइम में मेरे को 20 डाउट थे, तो ट्राई टू नोट डाउन योर क्वेश्चंस, वील मेक इट वेरी इंटरेक्टिव टुवर्ड्स द एंड। बीच में भी अगर किसी को एकदम ही चलो गई कि आपने गलत बोल दिया, तो रोक के एक बार डिस्कस कर लेना, हो सकता है 10 लोगों का डाउट हो और सब शांत हो।
Also are adding on to what other panelists mentioned. So I'll just make it simpler for you. I'll pinpoint the resources like what I followed. So for example, I've talked about few metrics which consult people see in a candidate, right? So first one I talked about was quant, matlab how good you are with numbers. So for that you can particularly solve cat mocks, and usme bhi you can particularly solve data interpretation side. So because that will help you, in getting quicker with data. Matlab, let's suppose there are several data points given to you on the case, so it would be very easy for you to convert that into insight. So cat mock mein data interpretation. Then second comes the business judgment, and the third is structuring. For that, definitely case solving is the way. Then for case solving, you can definitely follow CICC, Victor Cheng videos. These are key generic things which you can do in 2 to 3 days. So you'll just get a gist of it. How does this thing works, right? And other than that, for building the business acumen, you can follow like different newsletters, for example, FinShots. Then you can follow different creators, for example, Pawan Sathiraju on YouTube, which I followed, and Think School. So yeah, so these are the resources like you can follow.
And adding on to this, like these are the major points, but other than that, the small things like just preparing your CV or certain HR questions, because in consulting, you won't have a separate HR round. Like these consultants, while they are taking your interviews, randomly they'll ask you one random HR question. So it's nice to be prepared beforehand for these as well. And also like make sure that you know your CV well, you know what you have written down, and don't try to fake it, because these are experienced people. They know when you're just trying to make things up, and this is their job, right? They are people, like they do this only, so they know that what you are trying to say is wrong. So just ensure that you know about all that as well.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you so
was
much for
really
the
informative.
Thank you so much for all of those insights. Moving on to the next question. How significant is the preparation of a well-crafted CV, and what level of importance do internship hold in consult profile for a student's professional growth?
ले लो यार बंसल।
Yeah, sure. So again, so in CV there are for me there are 5 sections. Matlab. So one is which Aryansh mentioned, CGPA definitely. So again, like CGPA factor depends on campus to campus and also depends on batch to batch. So for our batch, our CGs, overall CGs were a bit inflated. So definitely at that time, 8.5 plus was something which you should. Well, it's a good to have. Again, for in your case, you should see your batch average and you can simply guess an average ki, okay, 8.2 or 8.3 plus will make things for me, right? And then comes the internship section for this. So there are three things I'll say to internships and project section. So one is either you are going for a brand or you have brand on your CV. Second is either you are going for a series A seed stage startups, but the quality of work you delivered there was amazing. Like for me it was the second thing, where you have delivered end to end things. Then the third comes is research internship or research experience. So again, that is again valued a lot in consult. Whether if you have internships from eminent institutes or from well-known professors, so yeah, that definitely counts a lot. Then third one was the PORs, and fourth one is I'll say competitions. If you have achieved podium in certain level of competitions, it can be your inter-hall competition as well. Then the fifth one is extracurriculars. If you are a national level player or if you are a part of the inter IT contingent team. So yeah, so these are the 5 key things you should take care while preparing the CV. And I'd love to hear more about it. Matlab Aryansh, Dipanki, any one of you can take this ahead.
ले रहे हो दीपांकी?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Apoorv in this, that basically you need to show that you are an all-rounder, that you have done, like you have like done many things in your college life and you have done them well. It's not like, you would average at it or something like that. So you need to have these spikes in your CV, and you can show it to them that you have been really great at these stuff, and that is why you are different from all your peers, and that is the reason why they should shortlist you. So because consulting is also a job which is very intensive, right? So you need to work for 14, 15 hours. So it also needs to show that you have handled stress before in your life. You have done certain intern where the job was also something similar, but it was very intensive and something like that. So I think that's what I'll have to add in this.
और यार इसका सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट ये है कि सीवी शॉर्टलिस्ट आर रैंडम, ठीक है?
That is true.
यू कैन नॉट प्रेडिक्ट व्हाट शिट इज गोइंग टू हैपन. अगर तुम प्लेस कॉम हो तो तुम्हारे चांसेस हैं तुम्हारी रैंडमली शॉर्टलिस्ट हो जाए रिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ तुमने क्या इंटर्न करी है. अगर तुम हप्पा हो सकता है तुम्हारी कोई चांस ना हो शॉर्टलिस्ट होने का. कुछ भी तुम्हें लगता है अगर तुम एसएफ का तो प्योर उठा लिया या ईसीएल में गॉड हो या बी क्लब के गवर्नर हो, नथिंग कैन गारंटी योर शॉर्टलिस्ट इन एनीथिंग एंड नथिंग मतलब एवरीथिंग माइट गारंटी योर शॉर्टलिस्ट इन एनीथिंग. तो जब सीडीसी की शॉर्टलिस्ट आएगी, जब वो 30 लोगों के नाम आएंगे आउट ऑफ अ बैच ऑफ 1800 जिसमें से 140 लोग माई टैक्स के लिए गए हुए हैं और वो 140 के 140 खुश हैं कि हम यूएसए में हमने माँ चोद दिया देश की, हमने कनाडा में गांड फाड़ दिया, तो वो सब मैटर नहीं करता. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट विल बी रैंडम. काफी लोग बोलते हैं कि सीवी ऐसी बनाना, कोर्स वर्क मत डालना कंसल्ट की सीवी में, एंटरप्रेन्योरियल एक्सपीरियंस मत डालना, उन्हें लगेगा कि तुम छोड़ दोगे. ये सारी चीजें साइड रखना. वट एवर यू आर पुटिंग, बी श्योर दैट यू नो एवरी सिंगल थिंग ऑफ इट. लाइक दीपांकी said, they are smart people, they have been in the industry for 10 years and they fuck 10 people, they deal with many people like this on a regular basis, so they know what is going to happen at the end of it. So make sure from your end whatever you are putting in is the best. और उसके सिवाय किसकी शॉर्टलिस्ट आएगी किसकी नहीं आएगी ये किसी को नहीं पता. ये मतलब अगर तुम्हें लग रहा है बीसीजी में भी या बेन में भी सबसे नीचे वाले आदमी को कि तुम दिव्यम से बात कर लो या मन से बात कर लो और तुम्हारी शॉर्टलिस्ट आ जाएगी, वो भी नहीं होगा. some partner or some admissions or some recruitment committee at the top decides everything, because for them you are a potential employee and they won't take any random people into the session. तो दिल पे मत लेना अगर शॉर्टलिस्ट नहीं आई, मतलब आई एम जस्ट प्रिपेयरिंग.
Just to, though I do agree that CV shortlists are random overall, just a piece of advice which a lot of people who applied during my time did not follow, which was always make sure that you get your CV checked by a senior. You don't really have experience in making a CDC CV, but they do, A. And B, consulting firms are very particular about silly things such as the way you frame sentences, your grammar, your formatting, all of that, right? These are things that your seniors understand much better than you do. And also, a lot of times you'll feel like कि जो मैंने किया है, it's not really important, it's trivial. And then you'll wonder कि अच्छा CV में कुछ डालने के लिए है ही नहीं. And then your seniors are probably there, will be there to tell you how to frame it in a way which sounds effective and impressive, right? So just to say that, do reach out to your seniors, get it at least get it checked at least like once, but I would recommend more times, to make sure that you don't put in a bad CV because you didn't have the information to create a good one, right? So yeah.
For those valuable insights. That was really
There is some delay from our end. Thank you for the valuable insights. Moving on, now we have our next question. How much weightage do companies usually give to a candidate's CGPA during the selection process? And what can a student with a lower CGPA do to improve their chances? I think this question has already been answered, but any of the panelists would like to add to it.
So I don't, if it's okay if I take this, but there is always going to be a baseline CGPA that you need to get in order to get shortlisted, right? And I think that has been covered already. Um, but it also matters if you're like DR1, if you have a really good CG, then that is something that they count as exceptional as well, right? But if you're somewhere between the baseline and between a really good CG, then it's like all the same around that. But you want to make sure that you have reached the baseline because you don't want that to be like the reason you don't get through. So if you have a low CG, if it's below the baseline, which is a safe baseline, I think is 8.5. Some firms, McKinsey apparently has a higher criteria, but that is something that you'll find out from like senior to senior. If you have like a CGPA below the baseline, then I don't really have advice for you beyond कि बहुत पढ़ाई करो, please. But if you have, say, a CGPA between that baseline and between a really good, like a DR1, then yeah, just make sure your internships, your projects, your PORs come out really, really well in your CV and in your interviews. Yeah.
Many of the panelists would like to
हाँ यार, मतलब हमारे बैच में सबसे कम सीजी कितनी थी? बेन में सबसे कम कितने पे गया है बंदा?
8.6 I guess. I don't know. मतलब
8.6 पे गया है।
mostly
और बीसीजी में भी
mostly shortest.
दो नालायकों को छोड़ के 8.3 के ऊपर थे सब। मतलब 8.8 के ऊपर थे सब, मेरे को और गौरव को छोड़ के। तो मतलब सीजी 8.5 तो मतलब मिनिमम मान लो। उसके सिवा
हाँ
दीपांगी
यार
सीजी कितनी है? 9.9।
नहीं,
होता है.
8.8.
हाँ मतलब सबकी भाई 8.8 8.7 से ऊपर थी सिवाय दो लोगों, और वो भी पीस मार दो, उसका अलग रीजन था। तो तुम 8.5 या 8.8 के ऊपर रखना, तुम्हारे कुछ चांसेस रखने के लिए भी। और एक फंडा दे देता हूँ कि वो अगर स्मार्ट कंसल्टिंग फर्म हुआ तो वो तुम्हारी सीजी नहीं देखेगा, वो तुम्हारी ऑफलाइन सीजी देखेगा। ठीक है। तो हमारे केस में क्या हुआ था, ऑफलाइन सेम सिर्फ पहला था, तो सिर्फ फर्स्ट सेम की सीजी कंसिडर हुई थी। तो हमारे में फर्स्ट सेम की सीजी लोगों की कुछ भी थी। तो इसीलिए बीसीजी में काफी सारे लोगों का कटा जिनकी एकदम ओपी प्रोफाइल थी। उसका रीजन ये था कि ऑफलाइन सीजी पे वो कर रहे थे। और ये मतलब दिस इज नॉट पब्लिक नॉलेज, दिस इज सम रैंडम फैक्ट कि मतलब ये भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है। तो तुम ध्यान देना कि मतलब अगर तुम्हें लग रहा है कि तुमने फर्स्ट और सेकंड सेम में मार दिया 10 जो तुम्हारा ऑनलाइन था, और पिछले सेम में तुम्हारी 6 आई है, तो nothing can be sure that what happens to you in the shortlist process. अब मेरे को इस सेशन में ये लग रहा है कि 3 लोग फंडे दे रहे हैं और मैं रियलिटी चेक दे रहा हूँ। तो थोड़ा मतलब डरना मत यार, मैं बस लेवलिंग कर देता हूँ थोड़ी।
thank you, Aryansh. That was a great insight.
On how should we prioritize a company and what is the typical selection process that companies in consult profile follow when choosing candidates?
ये तो आर्यांश बताएंगे, उनको
ये
बहुत
तो ये
सारी
तो
शॉर्टलिस्ट
ये
होंगी.
तो
हम
डिस्प्यूट
तो दो
करा
तीन
दिया तुमने।
था.
ये तो तुमने डिस्प्यूट करा दिया, बट हाँ, दिस इज समथिंग आई फेस्ड वेरी क्लियरली, और उसका एक क्लियर आंसर है, आई विल गिव यू दैट. Go to LEK if you are interested in healthcare and edtech and you are very sure that you want to do that in your life. Apart from that, go to Bain if you are very sure that you want to do financial services, private equity or internet economy. और besides that, Bain का एक added advantage है कि culture है, तो थोड़ा working hours would be better. In general, team dynamics are better. LEK में पेल दिए जाओगे अगर मतलब ढंग से ड्यू डिलिजेंस तुम्हें मिल गई, ढंग के प्रोजेक्ट तुम्हें मिल गए। और बीसीजी में अगर तुम्हें रैंडमनेस एंजॉय करनी है तो बीसीजी में तुम आ सकते हो। कोई यहाँ पे 20 घंटे भी काम कर रहा है, कोई यहाँ पे 4 घंटे भी काम कर रहा है। तो उसका रीजन ये है कि मतलब रैंडम प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, तो यू कैन बी स्टाफ्ड ऑन एनीथिंग फ्रॉम इंडस्ट्रियल गुड्स टू फार्मास्यूटिकल टू फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज। तो ये पैरामीटर्स कंसिडर कर लेना। और वर्क आवर्स कैन बी ए कंसिडरेशन, जो बस बेन में कम है, बीसीजी में रैंडम है, एलईके का ये हो गया। और इंडस्ट्रियल एक्सपर्टीज भी मैंने बता दिया कि बीसीजी इज गोइंग टू बी सेक्टर एग्नोस्टिक एंड बेन इज गोइंग टू बी फाइनेंस इंटरनेट ओरिएंटेड। सही है ना अपूर्व?
हाँ यार, मोर और लेस ब्रॉडर सेगमेंट वो है, बट अगेन हाँ, सारे टाइप ऑफ ब्रॉडर रेंज ऑफ केसेस रहते हैं. लाइक इवन आई एम वर्किंग ऑन सम ऐसा अलग केस, नॉट इन एफएस और पैग, मतलब प्राइवेट इक्विटी और
पर 80% केसेस आर फ्रॉम दीज टू सेक्टर्स वाली बात है।
हाँ तो
और
वही.
एलईके का ऑल्सो दिया, आई एम श्योर हेल्थ और एडटेक ही है सीन।
Broadly education, not exactly at tech, but yeah,
हाँ हाँ मतलब
education and
हाँ.
health.
और अगर उसके बाद एक फैक्टर तुम्हें स्टाइपेंड का कंसिडर करना है, इट डज नॉट मैटर, आई विल टेल यू। स्टाइपेंड भी मोर और लेस सेम है। बस यार अब मैं ऐसे, बस एलईके की फुल टाइम सैलरी बहुत ज़्यादा है, इट्स 50% हायर। पर मैं ये बच्चों को इंसेंटिवाइज नहीं करना चाहता सैलरी के बेसिस पे। मतलब देख लेना, फिर वो बहुत सारे पैरामीटर्स हैं, फिर तुम पर्क्स में आ जाओगे, फिर तुम सैलरी में आ जाओगे, फिर उस सब में तुम फंस जाओगे। इन जनरल मैं तो कहूंगा सेक्टोरल एक्सपर्टीज और आर्स के बेसिस पे डिसीजन ले लेना। अगर पैसा इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर तो शायद एली के अगले साल से सीटीसी बढ़ा देगा। तो अगर दिया का भी पीपीओ आता है इट वुड बी आई गेस 15% हायर देन व्हाट वाज द सीटीसी फॉर लास्ट ईयर। तो दीज आर आल्सो कंसिडरेशंस और तुम्हें पैकेज वैकेज पता चल जाएगा लॉन्ग रन में, उसकी बीटी मत लो। और बीसीजी और
Also,
बेन का सेम है।
Would you
also,
agree though that at our level, at least at the internship level, the work we do across firms is roughly the same?
हाँ,
मतलब
even
uh,
yeah.
uh,
बट वर्क इज सेम, अरे सबको एक्सेल पीपीटी करना है, दैट इज द सेम, दैट इज द सेम। बट वो वर्क आगे जाके कैसे काउंट होगा?
जी,
If
that
you
makes
are
sense.
in LK, you would be an education or healthcare consultant specialist, ऐसे देखा जाएगा तुम्हें।
Mhm.
So whenever, even if you are applying for an MBA at Harvard, if you are applying for an MBA at Stanford, it will be that your CV is gauging in one particular direction. And you can also see the previous example of the people who are working in LEK and the people who are working in BCG. उनकी overall जो orientation हो जाती है वो थोड़ी अलग हो जाती है। And this is something that when I was facing a dilemma between the three firms last year, तो somebody told me कि तुम इन जनरल कंसिडर कर लेना, डू यू वांट टू बी अ स्पेशलिस्ट, डू यू वांट टू बी अ जनरलिस्ट, जनरलिस्ट में भी विच कल्चर डू यू प्रेफर, एंड इन द लॉन्गर रन वेयर डू यू सी योरसेल्फ। तो
Makes
उन
sense.
पे थोड़ा फर्क आ जाए, मतलब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि हम अच्छा काम करते हैं और कोई गंदा काम करता है, पर द पॉइंट इज कि ब्रॉड लॉन्गर रन में इट वुड मेक चेंज। दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई सम पीपल शिफ्ट फ्रॉम हियर टू देयर।
ऑल्सो वन मोर थिंग यार, मतलब तुमने मतलब सो दिस आंसर वो थोड़ा प्रोफाइल स्पेसिफिक ऐसा होगा कि तुम्हारी मल्टीपल शॉर्टलिस्ट भी आ सकती है अक्रॉस आईबी और कंसल्ट। तो मतलब बी वेरी क्लियर विथ योर प्रेफरेंसेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोफाइल कि यार अगर मेरा लेट्स सपोज आईबी शॉर्टलिस्ट है और मेरा कंसल्ट शॉर्टलिस्ट है तो आई एम श्योर कि मेरे को कंसल्ट जाना है देन आईबी जाना है। मतलब इट वुड बी इजियर फॉर यू टू प्रेप एज वेल ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस। अगर तुम्हें वहीं पे क्लैरिटी नहीं होगी कि आईबी क्यों जाना है या कंसल्ट क्यों जाना है, तो एक वो क्लैरिटी पहले ही रख लेना एंड talk to seniors about it. What are the perks of IB and what are the perks of consult and what you want from life, as what Aryansh mentioned. So एक वो चीज देख लेना before deciding firms. ठीक है ना? बाकी तो I think हाँ it's fine.
Any of the panelists would like to add anything?
I think we missed talking about the general selection process while talking about
No, I think the slide
company
is different.
prioritization.
I guess.
Oh, for you?
Slide is
For me,
different.
it
Slide
was
is different.
अगली अगली स्लाइड है।
नहीं मतलब उन्होंने जो स्लाइड थी वो क्वेश्चन अलग पड़ा, the slide is different. So it's fine,
okay,
it's fine.
okay, no
Okay,
problem.
no, we'll talk about the general selection process. So यार मतलब first basically पहले CV shortlisting होता है, then you've been allotted buddies who are currently working at that particular firm. Then उसके बाद case rounds होते हैं, then HR round. So this is the general selection process.
I think जो nature of rounds होते हैं that varies a little bit across
Right.
firms. जैसे I think बेन में वो case interviews और भी strictly case interviews होते हैं, जबकि in
Mm-hmm.
LE के it's personal interviews plus case, so it's kind of more mixed up. So वो थोड़ा firm to firm vary करता है, but largely it's yeah the
Largely,
same.
but again, हाँ, मतलब you should be very clear with your CV as well. Like even in Bain in case rounds, they asked about your CV as well. कि मतलब okay, what exactly you did, why you did, what were the key takeaways, वगैरह वगैरह. Yeah, so that was there.
Also, I just like to add that many firms also have these buddy rounds, like especially the consult firms. It is also very important to take these buddy rounds very seriously. So they might say that they are not judging you based on these rounds that they are conducting, but they are always judging you, right? Just from when your CV is getting shortlisted, you are being judged by these people. So that is why it's very important that even during these buddy rounds, you like ensure that you take maximum advantage of your buddy and you learn from them. And at the same time, you are also performing very well in that and don't take it lightly.
हाँ मतलब बी ऑन योर बेस्ट फुट यार, एवरीथिंग इज इवैल्यूएटिव। मतलब इसका थोड़ा ध्यान रहना, मतलब सी दे डोंट नीड रीजंस टू सेलेक्ट यू, दे नीड रीजंस टू नॉट सेलेक्ट यू। उनके पास 1100 सीवी आती हैं, बीसीजी में लास्ट ईयर 1000 1100, एलईके में उससे पिछले साल 900 बच्चों ने सीवी डाली थी। तो 900 और 1000 और 1100 अगर सीवियां डल रही हैं कहीं कंपनी में, तो तुम्हें क्या लग रहा है उन्हें तुम्हें सेलेक्ट करने के बहाने चाहिए? नहीं, उन्हें तुम्हें निकालने के बहाने चाहिए। तो बी श्योर कि तुम्हारा रिटन कम्युनिकेशन अच्छा हो, तुम्हारा मेल वेल, तुम इन जनरल जो भी मेल पे कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हो उसे इग्नोर नहीं कर रहे हो। मतलब हो सकता है अगर तुम्हें आए मैसेज कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन ऑन योर शॉर्ट लिस्ट, तो उस पर भी एक अच्छा सा प्यारा सा रिप्लाई लिख दो, इट टेक्स बेयरली 30 सेकेंड्स चैट जीपीटी 15 seconds. तो मतलब keep this in mind कि they don't need reasons to take you. You are not an asset. They have 900 assets they can take. तो they should want you very specifically, और उसके लिए you have to be on your best foot. तुम्हारा बड़ी इंटरेक्शन हो, वो फोड़ना है तुम्हें, तुम्हारा पार्टनर हो, इंटरव्यू राउंड हो, प्रोजेक्ट लीडर राउंड हो, कोई भी हो, मतलब ठीक है, ऑब्वियसली तुम्हारे पास स्कोप क्या है, मतलब क्यों ही बीटी दोगे, तो ये सब देख लेना थोड़ा.
And one more
Uh,
thing, मतलब बड़ी राउंड में don't hesitate a lot, मतलब try to make the most out of it. मतलब अगर if you are making mistakes, ask the buddy कि हाँ, so how can I get it correct, मतलब so this is fine, मतलब इतना मतलब evaluative होता है, I understand that, but again मतलब बड़ी राउंड is for you to understand कि exactly तुम्हारे में अभी भी कहाँ flaws बच रहे हैं after a lot of practice you have done with your case and interview groups. So मतलब try to make most out of it. ऐसे मतलब मेरे को काफी help हुआ था बड़ी राउंड से, because जो चीजें मेरे को वहाँ पे pinpoint हुआ था, that really helped me in interviews. मतलब I improved on those aspects. So yeah.
so what they evaluate you during this process? जैसे for me, उन्होंने कहा था बड़ी round non-evaluative, उसका next round भी non-evaluative है, and directly apparently the only evaluative round was the day one interview, which I'm sure was not the case. But what they evaluate is probably not कि अच्छा, how many correct answers you're giving, but rather what is the process by which you're arriving at the correct answer? Are you putting in the effort? Are you curious enough? Are you enthusiastic enough? To make sure you're able to put forward those sorts of things effectively.
And
Right,
I
right.
also feel, yeah, sorry, Apoorv, continue.
Go ahead, go ahead. I was just saying,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just saying that even though if you feel that you're not really that great at it, I think enthusiasm is also something that they definitely see. So if you're constantly pestering your buddy, you might feel that I'm irritating that person, but they're actually liking it only. That at least you're interested in it and you want to improve yourself. So I would suggest if you get your buddy, make sure that you're constantly asking them for your help, what kind of improvements you can make.
Thank you so much for those valuable insight. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, we can move ahead.
Moving ahead, we would like to know how important is doing an internship or a project before CDC. Anyone would like to go ahead?
It's important.
So,
Yeah.
mm,
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
no, it's fine. Go ahead. Um, so I feel that it's important because of two reasons. If you are doing an internship or project before, you yourself get an idea of how a firm works. Like, even if you're doing an internship or project not into a consulting firm in general, you get an idea of how a corporate world works like, and what you need to do to make sure that you make certain changes where people feel that you are a valuable asset and they did not just hire an intern and randomly give you a stipend and you were useless there. So that helps that you are doing something, you understand how it works, and at the same time it also gives you a kind of experience for you to talk about in your interview or CV. So you already know that you have done this, you know that you have proven yourself somewhere. It also gives you a certain amount of confidence that if you get selected in this particular firm, that you have done something great in before and you have proved yourself, so you'll even be able to do that in here. So that I feel is very important. And second, it is important because even the firm is looking into how you have performed in the past, right? Like doing something in college, being a part of society, being a governor or something, that is different, completely different from doing an internship or a project somewhere else, right? So that is why even they are going to look into it and see what you did there. So as Apoorv mentioned, right, either it should be a brand or the work that you have done there should be amazing, and it should show that what you have done kind of aligns with what you are going to do in the future. So that is why I feel that these are the two reasons why it is very important to do an internship or a project before CDC. It just gives you an idea of what you are going into.
Just to add on, if that's okay, if anybody else was speaking. Okay, just to add on, so as we've clarified, you don't really need previous experience in consulting, right? But the way how consulting jobs are is that the work is not like insanely difficult, right? You just need to be able to pick it up quickly and you need to be sincere. So when they look at any past internship or project that you've done, what they're assessing is essentially how good are you at like doing work, right? How good are you at picking up things? How good are you at contributing to like work? Which is why it's important for you to have some internship or project to show that, hey, like, you know what, I have been a valuable asset elsewhere, which means I can probably contribute here as well. So that's like probably the logic behind why they care about internships or projects, even if they are not like consultancy specific.
Anyone would like to add? That was really insightful.
Moving on to the next question. How significant was the role of communication skill and what impact did they have on the overall evaluation of candidates?
So communication skills, I think, is very important in consulting. So this is not like the interviews that will happen here are not like like normal interviews that happen, right? It's not like the interview is going to give you one question, you go ahead and solve it for 20 minutes, you give the answer, and they are fine with it, right? What happens is that they'll randomly give you a one-liner thing, which will have literally zero data in it, right? It will be something like the profit of this particular firm is going down. What do you think we should do? So now you need to like make a structure. You need to go about it in such a way that you are constantly asking the interviewer, okay, I'm following this approach and this is what I'm trying to do, so can you give me this data, and do you have this data, then I'll go on and do this. So you are communicating all the things that you are trying to do. So I feel that communication is something which is very very important in consulting. And at the same time, there's a difference between you understanding what you want to do in your own head, and then it is very different from you trying to explain it to the interviewer that this is what you want to do and this is how you feel it is going to go, like, right? They are completely different things. People can solve a particular problem in their head very nicely, but when it comes to communicating and explaining it to someone, they fail at that. So then, I mean, it doesn't really go well, right? So that is why communication is also very important in this case. And other than that, this is a front facing role. You will be speaking with clients when you get into this job. So that is why that is something that they definitely judge you upon, that how well you talk, how well you can answer something. And if there is something that's, if a stressful thing comes about, what do you go about it? How do you answer it? How do you react about it? So that is something that is also that they see.
And just to add on one last point about why communication is important in consultancy, you work in like really small, tight-knit case teams, right? So it's important that you're able to be very good at communicating to your team. You're very good at, um, you know, telling your peers what needs to be done or understand what you need to do from your seniors and all of that as well, right? So just communication overall is very, very important in consulting. A, because it's front facing. B, because you're always working with a team. So yeah.
And see, I'll give a reality check. If you see the kind of people who go into consulting, you will see a lot of them are from DevSoc, a lot of them are in general very good at English. It can be TLS, it can be something else. And apart from that, you'll see that they're also coming from affluent backgrounds. तुम कंसल्ट के 10 लौंडे देख लो, हो सकता है उसमें से 8 बहुत अमीर हो. And this is a bias, or this is a correlation, or this is a causation that you will realize after seeing the results of your batch. And that is also a factor that comes into the communication skill wala whole thing. Ki in general you are from a good surrounding, so you have good communication skills, so you have better chances of facing an interview. And because of your good communication skills, it's highly potential you are in the literary society, or you are in the debating society, or you are in a media body. तो ये वाली चीजें होती हैं, ये जीवन के डार्क सत्य हैं. इन सब पे भी ध्यान देना. मतलब इफ यू आर वेरी बैड एट इंग्लिश एंड यू हैव अ वेरी एक्सीलेंट प्रोफाइल, इट कुड बी स्टिल पॉसिबल कि तुम्हारा ना हो, कि तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग एटीट्यूड अगर देश में सबसे ज्यादा है, विच इज द कोर स्किल रिक्वायर्ड फॉर कंसल्टिंग, स्टिल यू कैन नॉट मेक इट थ्रू. तो इन सब का भी थोड़ा ध्यान रखना कि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, इफ यू थिंक इट इज समथिंग दैट इज लैकिंग फॉर यू, एंड इफ यू थिंक दैट योर सीवी विल मेक अप फॉर इट, इट विल नॉट. तो अभी से 1 महीना रोज यार न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ो. मेरे को भी नहीं आती इंग्लिश, मैं रोज जाता हूँ न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ता हूँ मिरर के सामने. बेसिकली बुक्स रीड करो, कुछ भी लिखो रैंडम. लिंक्डइन पे पोस्ट लिख लो भाई, मेरे को तो इंग्लिश सीखने के लिए लिखना पड़ता है. तो इन सब का ध्यान देना.
Thank you so much for those valuable insights. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
So now let's take some questions from the chat box. Audience, please feel free to post your unresolved queries in the chat box and we'll take up your questions from there.
हाँ यार, चैट में डाल दो, सारे लाइन से आंसर कर देंगे। इतने सारे लोग हैं भाई कंसल्ट में जाने जाने 14 लोग वाले हैं, मीटिंग में ही 100 हैं, और 200-300 घूम रहे होंगे संडे को।
What exactly is the goal of the buddy round? Like, what is the same objective that they gave us while assigning buddies? Like, is it for asking any queries or for prepping cases with them? What is the objective exactly? Rating of the panelists, like, take up this question.
So the main objective of having a buddy round is that you practice cases with them before you sit for your interviews. So basically, and it can also range from you asking any kind of queries that you want to ask. You want to try to understand that how you want to go about solving this particular problem, or you feel that there is something that you always get stuck about, and you want to understand how to go about this particular problem if it comes. So I think it includes everything. Like you can prep cases with them, you can ask all your queries you have. But one advice I think that we all gave, that ensure that you are prepared for these buddy rounds as well. It's not like, it's going to be your first case with them because they are going to judge you. So it shouldn't be that this is the first time you're going and you are also wasting their time. You should have a decent idea about it. But yeah, they are going to help you improve in it so that when you go for your interviews, you are in a way better position than you were before you had, sessions with them.
Any case books you recommend?
डाल दी भाई, 2 कर लेना बस। ये वही बात हो जाती है कि 20 प्लेलिस्ट से फाइनेंस पढ़ लिया, एक ही प्लेलिस्ट पूरी कर लेना। हाँ, CIC और बरी द हैचेट वो चाहते नहीं है कि लीगली बच्चे लें, पर KGP वालों के लिए वो भेज देते हैं। और
Where restrict access to Noni Mittal को you can bring, and it's amazing book, मतलब in the sense it will give you a roadmap कि how you should prep। जैसे काफी मतलब होता है ना कि यार roadmap क्या होना चाहिए जैसे 1 महीने का, तो उसमें proper you will get a roadmap कि okay for first 7 days you should see this, for next 7 days you should see this, and again one good thing is कि काफी सारी इंडस्ट्री सेगमेंटेड एंड उनके मतलब काफी डाइवर्स वगैरह एंड बेसिक समरी दे रखी है हर इंडस्ट्री। तो यू विल गेट एन एसेंस ऑफ एवरी इंडस्ट्री के एयरलाइन कैसे काम करता है, गेमिंग कैसे काम करता है, ई-कॉम कैसे काम करता है, तो दैट्स गुड मतलब आई थिंक।
तो ना सही यार। और कोई डाउट है? कुछ भी डाउट पूछ लो भाई चैट पे भाई, फिर व्हाट्सएप करते रहते हो, लिंक्डइन पे मैसेज डालते हो मतलब KGP के बच्चे लिंक्डइन पे मैसेज क्यों डालते हैं, मेरे को तो ये नहीं समझ आता, कहाँ नंबर नहीं दे रखा। Does having internship core create any problems, and how to increase the quant prep? क्वांट प्रेप तो क्या होता है भाई? थोड़ा अच्छे से क्वेश्चन लिखो। क्वांट प्रेप क्या होता है?
What do you mean by point?
मतलब, और प्रॉब्लम तो कुछ नहीं है, अगर तुम टेस्ला में जाके बैटरी बना लिए या फिर तुम कहीं पे भी जाके कुछ अच्छा कर लिए तो यार अच्छी बात है। डॉक्टर रेड्डी वाले भी जाते ही हैं BCG, मतलब प्लेसमेंट टाइम पे। फिर अमल वाले भी देखे ही हैं मैं। कौन सा कोर भी कौन सा है, थोड़ा सा बता दो। As in like getting the guesstimates part better, प्रैक्टिस करो। CIC बता दिया, Day 1 बता दिया, वॉर्टन केस बुक भेज दी, प्रैक्टिस करते रहो लोगों के साथ। और इन जनरल भाई ऋतु का ब्लॉग पढ़ लेना, आई विल पुट इन द लिंक। ठीक है
Like discuss होती है क्या these things? Sir, honestly, see, dual degree have an advantage of extra 1 year, right? They have extra 1 year जिसमें they can add lot of experience. So definitely, यार, it's not biased. It's very मतलब it's very rational। मतलब अगर ज्यादा dual degree वाले shortlist आ रहे हैं then 4 year तो मतलब it's fine।
ठीक है, कैन वी इंक्लूड प्रोजेक्ट्स फ्रॉम सॉफ्टवेयर? हाँ यार ऑब्वियसली, अरे कहीं पे भी अच्छा काम है तो यू कैन इंक्लूड सॉफ्टवेयर, बोलो कोर बोलो अनकोर बोलो, जो भी है यू कैन इंक्लूड।
If they are looking for excellent individuals, so that you can be excellent at anything ना, मतलब it's fine अगर तुम अपने कोर में हो या फिर किसी स्पोर्ट में हो, मतलब तो चलो उसका इतना लोड मतलब।
और ये विनायक अग्रवाल आपको काम नहीं है? मेरे को सामर्थ बोल रहा है आपको काम करना था और आप ऐसे बकचोदी कर रहे हो। और कौन सा पीआर है आपका, मतलब क्या काउंट होता है वो बताओ। अरे यार मतलब सीजीपी वर्सेस पीआर, सीजीपी 8.5 के ऊपर हो या नीचे हो उससे काफी फर्क पड़ेगा। पढ़ने आया हूँ आपसे, हाँ। तो सीजीपीए 8.5 के ऊपर होनी चाहिए, और उसके सिवाय 4 ईयर है तुम्हारा, ठीक है। मतलब यार 8.5 सीजी एंड योर पीओआर यू विल गेट शॉर्टलिस्टेड, मतलब यू शुड। बाकी इतना इतना श्योर नहीं है, थोड़ा 9 के ऊपर सीजी रखते तो पक्का पक्का हो जाते। तो उसका वेइंग तो जब आएगी शॉर्टलिस्ट तो हमें पता चल जाएगा कि क्या वेइंग है। पर पिछली बार भी जिससे कैंडीज की आई थी, नीलमणि की, और किसकी आई थी, हिमाद्री की भी आई थी शायद एक दो। दिया वुड नो बेटर। 4 ईयर
Yeah,
वाले की आई थी।
I think in consultancy it was Nilmani. I'm not sure if Himadri was there, but I'm not sure. She might have.
नहीं, लेट मी चेक। मेरे को नीलमणि तो पक्का ही है बीसीजी। हाँ, हिमाद्री की आई थी। हाँ, इन दोनों की आई थी। कुछ कुछ की भी नई भी आई थी, तो ये सब देखते रहना थोड़ा। और क्या है, आंसर करो यार एक दो क्वेश्चन।
So one is, what kind of cases do they ask in general? Do they have any preferences? So the three classic kinds are guesstimates, profitability, market entry. You will figure out what kind of cases exist the more you start solving these casebooks. But these are the three kinds that you want to focus on, more so on guesstimates and profitability. A lot of times, interviews they will combine two kinds. So I have had cases where they ask a profitability and a guesstimate within that. So if you're doing market sizing, if you're doing a profitability or rather a market entry, then you have to do some degree of market sizing. Ki, acha, how many people would be willing to buy this product? And for that, you have to then do a guesstimate. So there's no preferences, so to speak. You want to make sure that you're good at like all three of them.
Thank you. Are there any other off-campus opportunities for these companies in addition to the on-campus?
टूटे मका नहीं भाई, बीसीजी ने इस बार ब्रूस एंडरसन कर दिया क्योंकि बेन ट्रू नॉर्थ करता था, बस इसके सिवाय।
एग्जैक्टली, बस एक ट्रू नॉर्थ एंड हाँ बीसीजी का आर्यांश
के
mentioned।
सिवाय अभी जीवन में कुछ नहीं है। अगर अगले साल एक कंपटीशन करा लिया, वो भी डिपेंड करेगा, इफ दे नीड मोर पीपल इनटू द इंटर्न कोहॉर्ट दे माइट कंडक्ट अ कंपटीशन टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ इट, बट दैट इज नॉट समथिंग वी कैन बैंक अपॉन। तो ये सब मत सोचो, ये सपने सुहाने लड़कपन क्या है। मेरे को कोई अभी मैसेज किया कि आई हैव अप्लाइड फॉर द समर एसोसिएट प्रोग्राम एट समर एसोसिएट प्रोग्राम एट बीसीजी फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर। तो अगर तुम्हारा कैंपस से रिक्रूटमेंट होती है तो दैट ऑफ कैंपस एप्लीकेशन इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड। मतलब कोई अभी देख के आए फिर बोले कि नहीं ओपन है, वो नहीं लेंगे। वो हमारे पूरे इंटर्न कोहॉर्ट में एक भी नहीं है ऑफ कैंपस इंटर्न, अनटिल एंड अनलेस तुम पार्टनर के बच्चे हो। तो अगर कोई पार्टनर का बच्चा है तो उसका हो जाएगा, अगर कोई पार्टनर का बच्चा नहीं है तो उसके लिए ऑफ कैंपस नहीं है। ऑफ कैंपस यू कैन ट्राई टू करनी, बट दैट इज इक्वली इक्वली टफ। यू कैन ट्राई टू
Also you
स्ट्रैटेजी,
can go for Dalberg।
हाँ, you can try into strategy and you can try into Dalberg. You have some chances of going into Alvarez and Marcel. तो ये सब बाद की दिक्कतें हैं, ये अभी से मत सोचो, ये बाद में दिक्कत लेना है इसकी। और बताओ यार, क्वेश्चंस पूछ लो भाई। तो अब मैं तो इस मीटिंग के जो लोग हैं उनका स्क्रीनशॉट ले रहा हूँ, उनमें से किसी का डीएम नहीं रिप्लाई किया जाएगा भाई। पूरा हफ्ता निकल जाता है डीएम रिप्लाई करते करते। ठीक है, कोई डाउट नहीं है किसी का? भाई कुछ भी पूछ लो, मतलब डम भी है तो पूछ लो।
हाँ it's fine, you know, I agree with you.
हम भी डम भी हैं.
I don't think that we have any other question. So let's move on to the next slide. So as we move on to the end of the discussion, panelists, would you like to give any fun day for CDC for the CDC Jamta?
ठीक है यार, so मतलब मैं तो एक बहुत जेनरिक फंडा दूंगा. Don't take a lot of stress. I know it's easier said than done, but your broader goal should be, you know, to get a good intern at the end of the till the end of the next summers. तो वो एक ब्रॉडर गोल बनाना, मे बी सीडीसी के थ्रू हो या ऑफ कैंपस हो, बट अगले समर से एक अच्छा इंटर्न हो, एंड you'll have enough time to, you know, मतलब learn those things. If you think I'm lacking at this particular you know segment or particular thing, so you can learn and you have enough time to grab a good opportunity through CDC or off campus, doesn't matter.
My advice would be to stay very well connected with people you like, right? With your friends, with your family, with seniors that you're close to, because it's going to suck a lot when you apply, when you get rejected. You start doubting everything that you've done in college. मुझे लगा कि मैंने कुछ किया भी है या नहीं, मुझे कुछ आता भी है या नहीं. And the people who are going to make sure that you're still okay with the process and you still have the courage to keep applying are going to be your friends and family who hype you up saying कि अरे मतलब वो कंपनी तुझे डिजर्व नहीं करती थी, तू तो उससे बेहतर है. So you need those people around you. And when I talk about seniors, make sure, don't be afraid of them. They've been through this exact same thing. They've probably been in your exact same position, but they're now on the other side of it, right? So I've had seniors who've given me advice which made me think that I could do even better than I thought on my own, right? There's going to be seniors who will tell you that you are better than you think you are because you are going to be your own worst critic, right? So just stay connected with everybody.
Yeah,
Also,
like
one
I
more thing is specific to sorry, Dipanki.
no
One
no.
more specific to consultants कि when you're doing this case prep thing with your group, so make sure कि यार it's not important to do lot of cases. मतलब it's more important to work on a feedback driven thing. मतलब इट्स फाइन अगर तुमने 7 से 10 केस किए हैं, बट हर हर उसको बहुत अच्छे से रिव्यू करो, एंड मतलब नोट डाउन करो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू आर लैकिंग एट, एंड वर्क ऑन दोस प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड मेक श्योर कि तुम यार नेक्स्ट राउंड में, नेक्स्ट मॉक राउंड में, यू आर नॉट डूइंग दैट मिस्टेक और डूइंग दैट ब्लंडर. So that is the most important thing which I have observed in my prep की. मतलब मैंने बहुत कम नंबर ऑफ केसेस किए थे, बट yeah, it was very well reviewed.
And I would just like to say that, as Aryansh also mentioned, that CDC process is very random. So, like, don't try to, like, see that if you don't get selected in this particular company, don't feel that, you are not smart or anything like that. Your caliber is not getting defined by your selection in these firms. So, make sure that I understand that, at this point of time, your life starts revolving around all these things. But try to ensure that, you don't start feeling low because one particular firm rejected you. You're way above that. You all are very smart students and you will get to do something in your life. So it's all right.
Okay, so coming to the conclusion of the seminar, first we would like to thank the panelists Diya, Dipanki, Aryansh, and Apoorv for sparing their precious time and sharing all their valuable insights and experience with us today. With us today. Now, a word of gratitude to the audience for being so pleasant and active throughout the seminar. We sincerely appreciate your attention today. We hope the discussion proves helpful for all of you.
With that, we conclude this session. And before we disperse, we have a brief announcement to make. On 16th, we will have a panel discussion on the core profile. We eagerly anticipate meeting with you all again to discuss the nuances of it. Thank you very much. Take care and we'll see you soon.
Thank you guys, and all the best to CDC folks.
ऑल द बेस्ट जनता. कोई भी वीडियो टेक्स्ट कर लेना.
हाँ
नो
यार, we are just one message away.
मतलब हाँ, क्या ही करेंगे
I don't know, but ठीक है, I'm just one message away.
भाई. दीपांकी करती है भाई बीसीजी में 10-11 घंटे काम.
ये
मैं
सब झूठ है.
मैं जाता हूँ 6 घंटे के लिए. दीपांकी रहती है ऑफिस में 11 घंटे के लिए.
ये सब बड़प्पन है.
ये तो बड़ा फन है. चलो बाय गाइस.
All
Yep,
the best
all
to
the
you.
best.
Bye bye.
Thank you for calling us. Bye bye.
That is